Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Get Out and Do Something. I'm Semi-Retired Bob, and have I got something to show you today. I bought myself a new lens for my camera. That is the brand name. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it. It's a manual lens. I got myself a manual lens so that I would be forced to learn more about how to take pictures without the camera doing most of it for me. And also this goes all the way down to f2.0 and all the way up to f22. For those of you that don't know anything about cameras, that means that the aperture, the amount of light that gets into the lens, gets really, really tiny, or it gets really, really big. And when it's really big, you get that shallow depth of field, which means just the thing I want in focus is in focus, and everything else is kind of blurred out. And while my Sony kit lens is a really good lens, as far as kit lenses go, it's not, it doesn't let you have that same depth of field. So that pretty much everything is always in focus, or close to it, with the Sony kit lens. So this new lens will let me experiment more with some other types of shots that I've been trying to get. So we'll see what happens. I didn't even bring my kit lens out here with me today. We're back at Lake Zorinsky, a familiar spot. We've been here a couple times before, but I thought I'd take a quick little walk and get some shots just to see how it goes. This is sort of a review of this lens. It's only a $69 lens, whereas, good Sony prime lenses run, anywhere from $800 to $2,000. This is only a $69 lens, so I'm not expecting great things from it, but I'm expecting fairly decent things from what I've read online and seen in other people's videos. And as far as doing a full review of this lens, well, there's lots of other channels out there that do the technical stuff. I'm just going to take some pictures and let you decide if this lens was worth $69 or not. So let's see what we can come up with. After we get through this next little section of video, I decided to change up what I'm doing. We're going to jump into Lightroom and go over all the photos I took today just to see what happens. Okay, let's jump into Lightroom here and see what we came up with. Of course, the very first shot, I'm not even sure I was focusing on anything there. As you can see, that one completely turned out blurry. That's not any kind of good at all. Second shot is actually kind of nice. The weed right here in the middle is nice and in focus. The stuff behind it and the stuff in front of it is all out of focus. So I actually kind of like that shot, even though it's not really of much interest except that it's a weed. And I started to look down this valley towards this pond, and of course this one was completely wrong. But then I tried some more settings, and I got a little bit closer on this one. And then on the third shot, I finally nailed it. Look at that. That's really nice. I like that a lot. Zoom in and see lots of nice sharpness throughout this thing. You can see in the corners it starts to blow out a little bit. It's not quite as sharp in the corners. But again, this is a $69 lens, so that's not too bad, really. Overall, I really like this shot, the way it came out. Next one. Again, I'm not exactly sure what I thought I was trying to get here, but if we zoom in, we can see like the middle range of the weeds and trees through this shot are in focus with the tree limbs and weeds in the foreground, and all the scenery of the lake and everything else behind it is all blurred out. So just like the middle plane of this photo is in focus. But again, I actually rather like that. It may not be something super special for most people to look at, but I actually really like that photo. This one got a little bit too bright, but and none of the berries I was trying to get were in focus, so that's kind of a fail of a shot. As I was emerging from the trail out to the edge of the lake, it went from bright to dark, so the scenery got a little bit too bright on me, but overall I like the sharpness. The trees in the background on top of the hill look really nice. The weeds on the hill itself, okay, it's grass. I'm sorry, it's not weeds, it's grass. All look fairly good. And even the weeds in the foreground are not terrible. Nice little water motion on top of it there. That turned out okay. And from just a slightly different angle, you can see it was still quite windy out today with the motion on the lake. But this shot turned out really well. You can zoom in and see that the trees across the way are in focus, as well as the foregrounds. I actually turned the aperture all the way up to, I think, about f8 or f9 on this shot to get a lot of stuff in focus. And this one I turned the aperture all the way up to 22, as tiny as it would go, because it was quite bright out. But as you can see, I don't need to put ND filters on this lens. I can just stop it all the way down to 22 to let a lot less light in, and that also makes things, look at how sharp that playground across the way is. And there's a restroom house there, and that's the picnic shed that I usually shoot from when I'm on the other side of the lake. So this really got the far side of the lake in really nice focus. Stopped all the way down like that with the bright sunlight out today. I'm very pleased with that photo. And there's a very similar one getting a couple of the houses over here in. I like how nice the shoreline looks there. You can see some shadows underneath the trees. But still, everything's still quite clear. I really like that photo as well. I'm becoming quite pleased with this for a $69 lens. And this is just grass, weeds, taken at my feet, but that's, again, not too bad. It's all pretty much in focus. It's a little on the blurry side there, but if you go to the top of the photo and look at this little miniature tree growing here, that turned out quite sharp. So again, not too bad. This was completely accidental. I'm not sure if I meant to press the shutter here or not, but it turned out okay. And this shot here I like really well, shooting through the trees on the edge of the shore with the grass in the foreground just slightly blurred out, and the trees nice and sharp, but I've still got a lot of good clarity all the way across the lake with this. This, for a $69 lens, this thing has turned out really well. This sort of where I started to try and do that model shot. This one didn't turn out really well. This one turned out pretty good. You can see the sign is nice and sharp, nice clear edges on all the numbers, black and white, and this weed right here that's on the same plane as the sign is in focus, but literally everything else is just nice and blurred out. So if this was an actual model or a person, they would really be the focus of this shot. Now, the one thing I've noticed with this lens, if we look at the next photo right in here, it does give, when you're shooting black on white like that, wide open, on a close-up, it does get chromatic aberration, which is that little purple haze you see all the way around the blacks bleeding into the white. So I'll have to be careful not to shoot close-ups with a plain white background. As you can see, as I pulled back out a little bit, there's still a little bit of it there, but not quite as bad, so I'll just have to be cognizant of that in the future. This, of course, as I was walking back towards the car, was a complete and total fail of a shot. Nothing is in focus. It's just kind of a blurry mess. This is getting a little better, but still a little bad. I've got some of the grass up here up front is in focus, and an almost really nice shot of a fire hydrant. Boy, isn't that exciting. I might win some prizes for that shot. Now we're starting to get into focus. So again, here, this is nice and and tight on the aperture. I like how the rocks are mostly in focus across the way. It's still not a super clean shot, but it's getting there. And then I found some ducks as I was walking down to the lake. I think I kind of nailed these ducks pretty good. The grass is in focus, some nice water ripple in the background, and the ducks are all mostly in focus. I really like these shots. And there's one more of the ducks. Got one of them dunking his head in for a drink, or maybe he was cleaning himself. It's hard to say with ducks. Who knows what they're thinking? But so let me know what you think. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how these shots turned out. Let me go ahead and edit a few of these, and I'll throw them in the video as well. And now I'll jump back out to the main video. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different edition of Get Out and Do Something. I am Semi-Retired Bob. Be sure and click all the little buttons around the screen. Hit the like and the subscribe. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.